And what we do, we serve about 10 to 12,000 women and girls each year. But what we do is we have a small staff. Like I said, we only have 4 program staff members. So we do programming until we don't have any resources. And that means bodies that we can put in a classroom. Power Up the Heat is a very powerful messaging. Again, it's a larger audience. It's 15 plus in each class. And sometimes we've had 50 or 70, maybe even more than that in there. And we do the same thing with the women for some of our programs. If they can't commit to a 10-week curriculum, we'll go in and do a smart lunch, but it could be smart breakfast. It could be smart coffee. It could be smart anything. And we bring in, it can be the topics that are already in our curriculum, or they can pick a trending topic. Get a lot of requests in the schools, especially middle school and high school, asking for sessions on bullying, cyber stalking, social media, relational aggression, personal hygiene.
Thank you for joining us for another episode of Spotlight Houston, where we bring you the best of the people, places, and events in Houston. This week, we learn more about the Women's Fund for Health Education and Resiliency. We sat down with Linda Rhodes, their executive director, to discuss this nonprofit's incredible work to promote good health through education. This is episode 101, with an original air date of Monday, August 19, 2024. And now your host, Blanca Quezada.
Having good health is so important for all of us, and it's important because it will help us live a healthier and longer life. But to do that, we need to become more aware of signs and symptoms that aren't normal for us. But sometimes those signs and symptoms aren't there. Women and girls, of course, are different, and we need to have a lot of information and tools to understand ourselves, and that the doctors can understand us and family can understand us. And it's also a great way to become a health advocate for ourselves. Our bodies can also be a little bit more complicated. So we need as many as educational tools that we can get. And so with me today, I'm so fortunate, and I think we're all very lucky that she's here. Linda Rhodes, she is the executive director of the Women's Fund for Health and Education. Linda, welcome.
Thank you, Blanca, for having me. I'm so happy to be here today.
Yeah, thank you so much for taking time off for your very busy schedule to share with us what the Women's Fund does and how you all can help us to, women especially, help us to become more better advocates for ourselves.
You alluded to how women and men are different. We were founded in 1979 by a group of women who saw a need for research, because at that point, research for medical research was being done primarily on men. And we all know now that heart disease looks different in men. And there's a lot of different things. We have different bodies. We go through menopause. There's a lot of different things that happen to us. And that they can't do the testing on men or the research on men. So in 1979, a group of women got together and they founded the organization with a C grant from one of the families and started funding research into areas that were specific to women. And over that time, we funded over 150 grants totaling $1.4 million from the period of 1980 when we first funded our first grant to 2004 when we turned our focus to a public health model. We realized that there was other organizations out there like American Heart and March of Dimes, or groups like they were doing and had much deeper pockets than we did that could fund research at a higher level. And so we changed the public health model.
Yeah. You mentioned heart problems. Just recently, not too many years ago, the doctors have been giving us information about how symptoms for a heart attack are different for men than they are for women. And it's amazing that, it's taken all this time for the research to let us know what to look for.
Exactly. One of the other things that women are notorious for is because we're mothers, we're in the workforce, we're doing all these different things. We put on for our own health, take care of everyone else. You don't know the signs or you don't see the signs. You say, I'm going to go to the doctor later. Or maybe you just don't know because what to look for. Sometimes we put that off for whatever reason, or other times we just don't know what we're looking for. There's a huge gap in the health education information that's out there. Not everybody has access to an MD Anderson or a Houston Methodist or has the funds to go to a doctor, so they may not have access to health, or it might be cultural where you just don't talk about certain things. So what the Women's Fund does is we provide free health education classes to community partners. So we partner with organizations like schools, Boys and Girls Club, YMCA, YWCA, on that, the Women's Home, Santa Maria Hostel, Angela House, to provide women and girls with health education classes, all free of charge. And we also do publish 4 publications each year that we provide free of charge.
Is this for the public in general?
We most of our classes, the general public can request our classes, but we do our classes in groups. So we partner with an organization. We do have some seminars and things like that are open to the public. We do a women's health education lecture 2 or 3 times a year that we partner with the University of Houston downtown, and they invite their faculty, their students, and their staff. The public's always welcome to attend also. We also do another program that's called Dog Talk, where we bring in cutting edge or trending topics and physicians and nurse practitioners, like psychologists, psychiatrists. We bring them in to come talk about something that's trending. We recently did one, I think it was at the end of last year. We talked about Ozempic in the diet phase, and we had 3 or 4 doctors that they're talking about the pluses and the cons and different things like that. We also just recently had Dr. Mary Havers, who came in and talked about menopause. And basically her talk was on what I wish my 35-year-old self would have known about menopause then. If I knew then what I knew now. So we do offer those free of charge to the public, but those are more limited. But our Women's Health Advocacy Program, which is a 10-week curriculum, is typically done in a setting. It could be a church, it could be with a group, like at the Women's Home, where they have their clients, and we go in for 10 weeks and we go through our program. The events we have for the public are typically hosted somewhere else. We'll host them at the Health Museum. We've hosted them in companies, different things like that, and they open them to the public, and they're free of charge also. And we promote those through our mailing list or through this guest speaker who may be speakers who are speaking. Mm-hmm. We have an e-blast with about 3,000 names on it that we send out. So anyone and everyone's welcome. But when we do a session with a client, with one of our community partners, they're typically not open to the public. And our Women's Health Advocacy Program is the same 8 to 15 women each week for 10 weeks. So they build a community there. They have the opportunity to ask questions. They work with a facilitator. They become comfortable in that setting where they can ask their questions, and there isn't any dumb questions. And we answer them all. And everything we do is evidence-based. It's based on the evidence that's out there. It's not my opinion or my thoughts on what you should do or what's going on. It's really based on the evidence that's medicine and science says is available.
So how do you do outreach to these women that need this information?
So we have a team of 4 professionals that they either have masters in public health or degrees in public health or communications or psychology. And we reach out to the different groups. We make cold calls, but a lot of our programming the way we get new partners is through word of mouth. With our girls programs, we do adolescent girls grades 5th grade and above. And we have another 10-week program called What About Me, which is just for girls. And again, it's 8 to no more than 15 adolescent girls. And they come together once a week. And it can be a school setting. It can be at a organization or a church. We've even done them in an apartment complex where they have programming. And so there's a lot of word of mouth that goes around. But then also we look at the Healthy Houston study that UT Health did several years back, and we look at the areas that have been targeted that are at risk and underserved, and we do our outreach there. We cold call, we go to health fairs, and we really work with a partner to create the classes. We also do, for larger settings within those organizations, we have a program for girls called Power Up the Heat, and HEAT stands for Health Education Anytime. And we created that in 2016 to address, we had schools calling us saying with testing and all the different things that kids are involved in, we can't dedicate 10 weeks, but your programs are so important to get that information out to our populations. So could you come in once a month? So what we do now is we have what's called Power of the Heat, and a lot of our partners will have us in once a month. We go in, if it's a school setting, we may see first period through seventh period, and we'll see 250 girls in one day with the same messaging.
Great.
Yes. And so we have a lot of repeat people that come back. And what we do, we serve about 10 to 12,000 women and girls each year. But what we do is we have a small staff. Like I said, we only have 4 program staff members. So we do programming until we don't have any resources. And that means bodies that we can put in a classroom. Power Up the Heat is a very powerful messaging. Again, it's a larger audience. It's 15 plus in each class. And sometimes we've had 50 or 70, maybe even more than that in there. And we do the same thing with the women for some of our programs. If they can't commit to a 10-week curriculum, we'll go in and do a smart lunch, but it could be smart breakfast. It could be smart coffee. It could be smart anything. And we bring in, it can be the topics that are already in our curriculum, or they can pick a trending topic. Get a lot of requests in the schools, especially middle school and high school, asking for sessions on bullying, cyber stalking, social media, relational aggression, personal hygiene. You think that
I was so happy to hear that your organization actually includes girls.
yes,
I think the sooner or the earlier they can hear about the type of health issues they could have, the better.
exactly. Not every household looks the same. There's households where they may not have a mom, that may be being raised by their grandmother or their father, or it may be, again, a cultural thing where we don't talk about certain things. And
Right.
having a place where they can go and talk to a trusted adult is very important. And that's what our team members are. They're taught they give the facts, the evidence-based facts, not their opinions.
They make them feel comfortable enough
They
to open
do.
up.
Yes. And with our girls, one of the things we do that I think is really even after they've been in the class, not all girls feel comfortable asking a question. So we have what we call a question box. And each girl at the beginning of the class is given a blank index card. They're all required to turn it in whether they ask a question or not. So there's that where they have that confidentiality and being anonymous. And we don't answer those questions that week. We come back the following week and ask them. And we've had girls, because not everyone feels comfortable raising their hand and asking questions. We've had girls
Right. They probably feel embarrassed.
embarrassed. Ask, how can they tell if they've been raped? Or they tell us that I've been physically abused. When after the pandemic, it was even more important. We've had more openness about this kind of topics. Now, we're not mandatory reporters. What we do, because we come in as a third party, we go back to the counselor or whoever's sponsoring us in that organization, let them know. So it's a shame. It is a shame.
Yeah. So do you help provide social services as well?
No, we don't. We just provide the class.
Oh, okay. So what if there's a lady or a girl that needs health care, but they can't afford coverage for it? Is there someone in your organization that can help them get some answers?
We try to send them back to the counselor.
Okay.
The counselor or whoever's sponsoring us there.
Oh, okay.
We do have resources in all of our publications of where to go. and who
Okay.
to call on things. But we're really just the provider of the health information. We do not see patients or diagnose people, anything like that. We really we provide the information you need to be aware of your health.
Okay. What is Rock for Her?
Rock for Her is our young professionals group, and they do volunteering efforts and some small run fundraisers. They're small, but they're mighty. They do a drive each year for high materials, and then they come and put them together. Like lotions, toothpaste, pads, tampons, different things like that. So we give those out at health fairs and some of our workshops. If we're doing a topic on personal hygiene or your menstrual period, puberty, we'll have the kits there available that the girls need them, because there's nothing worse than being in school and not having what you need.
Right, right. So how can we help the Women's Fund?
You can always make donations. You can go to thewomensfund.org and look at our website, how to get involved. We have memberships. Memberships start at $50, and basically you get invited to events and as a member, you get discounts on those tickets and things like that. But your membership really generally goes just to donations and helps us fund our mission. Again, we do this free of charge. So if I had to charge each woman and girl to do this, we spend about $45 per woman each year providing our programs, but it's through the generosity of individuals, corporations, foundations that we're able to do this free of charge. You can donate on our website, but then we also do our largest fundraisers coming up in November, and it's our 14th annual Rock and Resiliency.
Those are
luncheon.
great.
It's lots of fun.
So can we become a volunteer?
Yes, you can. You can go on our website. We have a place to put in a volunteer submission. We do background checks on all our volunteers. If you're placed in a school, or if you're placed in a school to facilitate a class, you have to go through the background check within the district or that school also. But we do a volunteer check on all of our volunteers. We do events. We have health fairs that we need help with. We need help in our office from time to time doing clerical and administrative things. We need help stuffing things. We need help at our events. We're actually going to be at the Bayou City Art Festival in October. We have a book in their activity set area where we're doing an art project related to your health. And we'll need volunteers there for 2 full days. So there's lots of volunteer opportunities. And it's usually with our adolescent girls. Our women ask a little more complicated questions. So we use our staff who have the background and training to answer those questions. And professionals, like we're doing a talk next week where we have someone who has an MBA and has a background in healthcare who's moderating it for us, so they can field the questions that come up. Has a background in mental health care. So
The great thing that you provide are publications.
Yes, we do. We have 4 publications that we publish each year. They're available in Spanish and English. We have our What About Me, which is a girl's guide to health. And that's about 150-page book. We have our What Are the Facts, which is a woman's guide that has health information in it. And then we do one for the family called Which Way, which is health and fitness related. And then we have a health journal called How's My Health. We provide those to providers. If healthcare providers can request those. We have community centers and various different outlets that request them on a regular basis. But individuals can request them also.
Can you find them on your website?
Yes, you can. They're available to download if you would like.
Okay.
They're under What We Do. If you go to What We Do, there's a link to our publications, and you can go there and download them.
Okay. And also we can find information on the luncheons and the classes that you have.
You can find a list of the type of classes we have. However, if you're interested in hosting a class for your in your community, you can fill out a contact submission form, which will direct you to our health educator email, and they'll get the information. Again, our classes are provided to groups. So we've done stuff with the Girl Scouts, different troops and things like that. But we don't have a physical location where you can come in and we can do a class. We actually go out into the community and do them.
Do you have health lectures online as well?
We have a YouTube channel. If you want to see some of the lectures we've done or some of the presentations we've done. You can do that. There's a link on our website where it'll take you to our YouTube channel. I think we have close to 80 different topics on there or different presentations we've done. We are a not-for-profit, so they're not filmed professionally, but they still are very good, great information for
Well,
them.
as long as the message gets out, that's great.
That's exactly right. We all assume that everyone, no matter what their socioeconomic situation is, has access to health care or health information. But you'd be surprised how many people don't.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And we're talking about women's issues, girls' issues, but there are husbands and brothers and men in our family that can also help us out. So do you
Yes.
ever involved any gentlemen into some of these lectures or programs?
Yes. Anything that's open to the public, men are welcome to come to. Now with our closed groups or organizations that we work only with women and girls. Because of that, you won't get the same kind of questions if men are in there. But our dog talks, our health lecture series, anything like that is open to the public, and men are welcome also.
Yeah, because they need to know, they need to be informed as well about women's health issues so they can help if needed, right?
Yes, they do. Men can be dads, they can be grandfathers, they may see something, they may have a loved one and they alert them. So, hey, you're doing this, or I've heard this. Our topics are not just necessarily about your physical health. We talk about emotional, mental health, financial wellness. We talk about healthy relationships. Our approach to health education is very holistic. We look at 7 of the 8 dimensions of health and wellness, because if you're struggling with your money, that's going to stress you out. When you're stressed, so it's a cannonball or a snowball that's running down that hill. If you're stressed, you start having health issues. So really our approach is to teach women and girls resilient skills. Resilient individuals have healthier outcomes because they tend to be more positive. They have more connections to others outside themselves. And so that's one of the keys to our teachings and then what we do is, if you're resilient, we teach you how to apply the skills you learned to your basic everyday health needs.
Yeah. So you're talking about stress and financial needs and other issues going on around you, and that all snowballs sort of and could create a health problem too.
It can.
Mentally as well, mental health problems too.
If you're stressed, think about it, how important it is. We hear how important it is to sleep at night.
Yes.
And to get a good sleep. If you're stressing about your financial situation, or if you're in an unhealthy relationship, or if you're stressed at work, or you're having conflict and you don't know how to resolve it, you're not going to, it affects your sleep, and that affects your overall health and can lead to other health issues, not just the mental side, but physical health.
So, Linda, would you give us your website again? Because that way we can find all the information that you've provided for us right now and more and more.
Yes, more. You have a calendar of events up there. We have a calendar of events. We have special events where you can learn more about the special events we have, which, do cost money. But we do try in our special events, we do try to include a healthy message, either utilizing a keynote speaker or a presentation. And you can find our publications. You can find an order form if you want to order some for your organization. You can submit a request to be a volunteer. You can submit a request to have a program brought to your school, your organization, your book club, whatever it may be. We just
of Rock, right?
You can be a part of Rock or a part of our membership. We
Yeah.
have Rock is for those young at heart. I love
Yes.
it. Used to be 40 and below, but we have people that are still
It
in
sounds
there.
like it's fun.
Yeah, but our membership we have membership lunches 4 times a year. We have one coming up on September 20th. We're going to be doing Healthy Vision. We have Dr. Morgan Jones with Kelsey Siebel, who's an ophthalmologist, who's going to come talk about Healthy Vision. We do charge for those events, and we don't make money on them. They just cover the cost of having lunch. But everything else is free other than our special events and our membership lunches. But memberships start at $50, and there's a place on there to get involved. There's membership for people 40 and above. And then Rock for Hers, typically 40 and younger, but we have some people that are going to be hanging on there and staying for a while because it is a fun group.
Yeah. So what is your
and-
website address?
Okay, it's www.thewomensfund.org.
And do you have a phone number where people can call?
Our phone number is 713-623-6543.
Linda, thank you so much for being here with us and for informing us on how we can get information to empower ourselves to become our own health advocates, actually. So there's a lot that we can learn from your organization, the Women's Fund for Health and Resilience. So I hope that a lot of people get to become members and be a part of your events.
Good. Thank you, Blanca. I'm pleased to have been here tonight. And if anybody has any questions, they can go on our website and submit a question through that contact submission form.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to thank you all as well for being with me for this edition of Spotlight Houston. And if you have any comments, please let me know. And if you have story ideas, please get in touch. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Gabby, your AI host. We've had a lot of great information in today's episode. We all strive to live a long, happy, and healthy life. But achieving that requires taking proactive steps in our health care. Unfortunately, women often get so caught up in taking care of others that they forget to care for themselves. It's also common for women and girls to struggle with speaking up about their health, making it essential to learn how to be their own health advocates. Having the right tools and information is crucial for empowerment. And when we have these, we can better take care of ourselves. Today, we heard from Linda Rhodes, the Executive Director of the Women's Fund for Health Education and Resiliency. She shared how this nonprofit has empowered women and girls in our community since 1979. The organization offers educational classes, workshops, lectures, and publications, all aimed at teaching resiliency skills to ensure positive health outcomes. They also focus on outreach education programs for adolescent girls in schools, promoting good health from a young age. Linda also told us about the many volunteer opportunities and upcoming fundraising events where you can get involved. If you want to learn more about the Women's Fund for Health Education and Resiliency, visit their website at www.womensfund.org or call them at 713-623-6543. We publish new episodes every Monday, so be sure to join us each Monday for more episodes that celebrate the energy and spirit of our city. Do you have an idea or feedback for us? We're all ears. Follow us on social media, and remember to leave us a rating or review on your favorite podcatcher. Your feedback helps us grow and bring you more content that matters. Spotlight Houston is a production of Story Zone Media. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.